talking for my last entry. I was talking about consent, and consent applies to everything. But I was asked a question by my mentor, somewhat of a philosophical question, and I thought it might be best to put that on the board. Basically, he was asking me, or he was saying, isn't it best to just have peace? To say, well, the past is the past, but we're not doing that anymore, so peace. And I said to him quite quickly, in fact, I said, look, I've studied history, and I've thought about ethics, and I've just come to the point where I'm like, it doesn't matter. I just want to do a good job. I want to do a job, and I want to do a good job. It doesn't really matter. He says, well, what about all those countries that look at us the way they look at us? All those people. And I said to him, I don't care about anybody but my job. That's what I said to him, point blank. I don't care about nobody but my job. I don't even care about myself. I don't say that. It's true. I only care about my job. And I said to him, I don't care. It doesn't matter. And I looked at history, and history says the same thing. History says all anybody ever needs is a job, and they'll do it. So, he seemed to be pretty agreeable with that. I mean, he didn't really do it. It's like, oh, that makes sense. To those that, but I did come with a little bit of a caption where I said, but I can't be made to do something that I don't want to do. I didn't say that, but that's a big part of consent is, you can't make me do something I don't want to do. And I don't think anybody should be made to do something they don't want to do. So, going back to what the program is about to begin with, and if you don't know, look at the video number 1. Basically, there's nobody that should be putting their hands on nobody. We don't need hands. We don't need contact to do our jobs. In fact, there are no jobs that involve contact or hands. And let me tell you why. You go to the hospital and you sit there, and then you're put in a machine, and then or you're lying on a table. Basically, everything makes sense. What I'm trying to say. You walk into, let's say, an office or a cell, and you sit down, and basically just sit there. So, in no situation, now let's say that you're being apprehended, for example. You're being apprehended basically says, this is how you apprehend somebody. It's like if you were to go to martial arts and it says, this is how you do this. Nowhere in these protocols is there anything else. It's just that. So, going back to the example. There really isn't anything that somebody could be made to do. So that's what the program is about. Is how do we prevent that which violates our rule of contact. And this is not just in warfare. But this is on a human standard, where you don't go below the human standard, otherwise you wouldn't be a human being. And there is no advantages. There is no advantage of being less than a human being. So, in fact, it's stupid to do that, because let's say that you brought someone below a human being against their will. So all that does is create something that's going to destroy you. Now, instead, what you could do is you could be a human being and say, oh, why don't we just settle this like adults, or like human beings, with dignity? Because if we don't have dignity, then you best believe we will destroy you until there is nothing but dignity left. And I say this with the whole world in a single job. You know? Because that's what we're about. Before we have a job, we have dignity to even show up to our job. So if you have the wrong person doing your job who has no dignity, you need to go take your job back by force. And you don't need to put your hands on somebody to take your job back by force. In fact, you could do it from a mile away. You know, given wind conditions, but theoretically, you can do it a mile away. So, our tours are basically quite like that, where we may or may not have sanction to do what we do, but we don't need sanction, because we move so fast and we think so quick, and we already are ahead of the business before it even, shows up on the minutes for the court. And we already are in and out before we even have the process. So, if you want to be a part of that, if you want to know about that, you should realize that the Titans never fall. The Titans never stumble. The Titans aren't anywhere but where they're supposed to be. And people will tell you, they say, oh, we're gods. We will eat the Titans. We will destroy the Titans. We will win because we're gods. But gods can't defeat their parents. I mean, as people, you seem to confuse parents for your parents, or my parents. But parents are actually where you get your life force of your heart from. And that's not from your parents. That's from the parents, the Titans. And the Titans never fall. So we look at the agencies, whether they're CIA or FBI or NSA or the military branches or whatever, not going anywhere. So that's why we always order Kellogg's in bulk as zip codes. And if your zip codes aren't up to Kellogg's standards, then you're gonna have all this riffraff acting like they're just gonna be stupid, basically. And they're gonna be yelling at me and I can't sleep. And they're gonna ask me to do one of these vlogs and explain why was I up before I was supposed to be up. Because I don't normally break my routine. Should have never seen that girl. She should have never given me any money. And I should have been hungry. Instead, I'm not hungry. So it's not a miracle, it's just something of an ordinary day in the good life of the Titan. Where, every day is a miracle for me. It's just ordinary. But tomorrow already pisses me off. Because I'm stuck here doing my tour. And I should be finished doing my next tour. What they asked for is some leadership. I said, I want to see some leadership. And I said to them, leadership? What kind of leadership are you talking about? Because all I see is you wasting my time. And, I have a bunch of viewers right now, so I'm sitting there viewing. If you're subscribed, if you're also one of my music viewers, and you don't know about my YouTube, then that's okay. You'll never see this video. But basically, it all comes together at the end. So the end is always today, and that's basically why every day is a miracle, because the end is today, the end was yesterday, and the end will be tomorrow. Because that's pretty much my life. It's the end. And if it's not the end, it will be the end. So that's what they're worried about. And they're like, well, if we get you on your next tour, it's going to be the end. And I told them, I said, that's up to you. Are you going to keep wasting my time? Or are you going to make me so... Am I going to keep working, basically? Doing exactly what I should be doing? And they haven't really gone back to me on that. So, which is peculiar to me. Anyway, they're all in communication with each other, talking about me. To the point where I'm sitting there, and they're like, saying they're gonna call my dad. And I'm thinking, my dad's in Chicago, and he doesn't even speak English. And I'm thinking, how are they going to call my dad? He doesn't even speak English. And then I realized, I said, oh, they're talking about my mom's husband, who's a loser, who I just met, like, a few days ago. Or like a week, like a couple years ago, basically. But a loser who went to the military. And I'm thinking, my dad didn't go in the military. My stepdad did. But this dude is a loser. Just because he went to the American military, all of a sudden, he's like, not a loser? Doesn't make any sense to me. Whether you go to the military or not, you're still a loser. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you are an Iron Man. It doesn't matter if you make $100,000. It doesn't matter if you're a scientist, if you have a PhD, that he does. He's still a loser. So you can never take the loser and make him something different. I was born great. So all I've ever known is greatness. But the world around me is not that great. They try to spread these stupidities. Like her husband says to me, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You better go out there and surf it out. And I talked to the loser, and I said to the loser, oh, and he also yelled at me, he said, you're nothing. And I said to the loser, I said, hey loser, first of all, I don't surf. I sit and I meditate. And first of all, loser, you don't even know me. You wouldn't even begin to comprehend to know me because you're a loser. So, I'm sitting there at the bus stop, waiting for my bus today. somebody says, I'm going to call his dad. And then my thought, I first I was like, how do you call him? Then I was like, oh, you mean the loser. And my mom married. My mom says to me, she's broke. I said to her, so you're a liar. Just because I got a job, all of a sudden she got broke. Isn't that funny? Anyway, no big deal. I just had to ask my mentor for some money. And he's like, I gotta stop at the bank. And I'm like, I don't need that much money. He's like, I'm just gonna stop at the bank anyway. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. I'm supposed to take all of my mom's money until she is stop being a loser also. Because that's what you realize growing up is if your like my stepdad was not a loser at all. But my mom was definitely a loser. Because she didn't even know me. She didn't even understand who I was. She created me with her culture, with her American stupidity, because she wanted Kellogg's. And, you know, so the loser sitting there will always be a loser. Because, you know, if you do that to your child, or you do that to your daughter, or, you know, you just have loser genetics, then that's what we'll be. It's just a loser. So anyway, I told her, I said, alright, I need some money. She's like, I don't have any money. I said, why are you lying? She says, I'm not. I said, alright. You know, then leave me alone. And she won't. You know, she had me arrested because she's making up stuff about me. I told everyone I was crazy. So basically, you have all these people in the community listening to my mom, who's a principal, and her husband in the colleges. And here's me trying to do his tour, and you can see how the offices are getting all mixed up. You know? And other losers are becoming more losers because they're listening to who they think is leadership and common sense. But they're not. Because I'm weaponized a long time ago. I've been my whole life. That's why I was the head of my class. You think a loser is going to be the head of their class? No way. No way. You think that, you think that somebody like me could ever be ahead of their class? No way. So for me, somebody like me to be ahead of their class, that much better than everyone else, always. That's Kellogg's. So the whole community is stupid with their whole stupidity. Sitting there with their security and calling people on me and making me go to all these places. And I just look at them like, how stupid do you want to be still? So, anyway, I got this new job, the afternoon new job. I said, okay, we're going to make sure that you have some common sense. And I said, look, I don't got time, but whatever. So, it's my fourth day. And so far so good, but I'm telling you, man, I had a couple jobs. Basically, I can tell you about it. I install electricity. I think I'm allowed to say that. And I also fix machines. So I told them, I said, I want to be an engineer. I don't just want to do this common sense. And they said, alright, but you got to pay for it. It's going to take some time. And I said to them, I said, I don't got time. I need it done today. I said the same thing to my recruiter. I said, I need this done today. I don't got time. I said, every single day I'm out there with the civilians, they're putting me at risk, making me go to these places. And I'm telling you what, I've smashed windows, I've broken all the cars they've given me because they're not good enough. And I'm over there taking money from little girls, little Barbie girls. You know, I can't put up with it. That's not a behavior. I'm eating out of trash cans. This isn't behavior that I condone. And the only reason why I'm allowing myself is because I shouldn't even be there. I should let them know I'm not a civilian. I'm supposed to be in school. And I told them this. Their reaction to that is basically to be stupid and to be a loser. My reaction to that is, well, let's get that person in school. They said they want to be in school, let's get them in school. That's common sense. Somebody says, I'm hungry. You're not like, oh my God, there's something wrong with them. Somebody says, my brain is a valedictorian. I need to be in school. It's not, oh my God, is your heart, is there something wrong with you? Are you disabled? Are you homeless? I'm like, it doesn't really matter at this point. And then they said to me, do you want to live? I said, do I have to lie to you? Do I want to live? Unless I'm doing my job, do you think there's anything for me to do? You know, I told my crew this. I said, God made me show up here against my will. First of all. Second of all, I told my mom, so they should have aborted me. But I was on purpose, so obviously. But God brought me here against my will. Second of all. So I'm here just to waste my time. Is that what it is? I'm supposed to exist just to waste my time. So what kind of torture is that? First of all, I don't even want to be here. Second of all, just to waste my time. Stupid. So, they gave me this job. They gave me a couple jobs. And it's great and everything. It's just, still, it's not my job. And they say, well, stepping stones. And I say, if I gotta step on all the stones, if I gotta step on every single step, how long do you think it's gonna take? My mentor says, well, I don't know. Because you're not me. And I said to him, I know I'm not you. I'm not supposed to be you. It's supposed to be me. And you're supposed to do everything for me. So, you know, I got a good job because all I got to do is, you know, do my job. But it doesn't make me any less angry when I'm not working. If I'm working, I'm happy because I'm working. But if I'm not working, I'm pissed. I'm pissed to the end of it, to the bottom of existence. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed that all I want to do is not exist. That's not pissed at me. I said, why exist just to be pissed? That doesn't even make any sense. That's worse than torture. That's like when non-existence refuses to exist and still has to exist and is just angry about it. And then I have people calling me names on top of that. And then they want to say, oh, I'm going to call his dad. I'm like, first of all, my dad doesn't speak English. Don't you dare. I just met that dude. I was like 23. I was a grown-ass man. I almost got married myself. My mom calls me up. She says, all right, come back. I'm like, I'm about to, like, engage this chick. She's like, no, come back. I'm getting remarried. I'm divorcing your dad. And I was like, okay. What am I going to do? Say no, Mama? So I broke up with my future fiance. And I'm just like, how stupid. First of all, I had respect for my mom for her loser. I had respect. And when he yells at me and says, I'm nothing. And then she says that I'm crazy, it's all in my head. And then says that she's broke. And then spreads lies about me. So, Not that I'm broke, she's broke. I'm broke also. She is not broke. That doesn't even make any sense. So anyway, I have all of this stupidity running about. Meanwhile, I'm over here having to just be pissed about it. So what am I going to do? Am I going to sit and be quiet? I'm going to smash everything. I'm going to break everything. I'm going to break all the windows. I'm going to throw rocks at people. I'm basically going to flip everyone off. And that's what I'm doing. That's exactly all that I want to do until I have my job. Because when I'm working, I'm not doing that. I'm happy. But if I'm not working, I'm pissed that I'm not working. You see how that works? If I have to clock out, that's me clocking out. I clocked out. No fucks. But if you want me to give a fuck, I gotta be paid. See how that works? So I went to my recruiter and I said to him, why are you still wasting my time? I told you that every single day that passes, it is not good. It is not good at all. And he says, well, there's nothing we can do about that. I said to him, you guys need to figure your shit out. Your little community needs to figure your shit out, because I'm sick of this bullshit. I got shit to do. I got shit to do today. And that's how I get my job done. But how am I supposed to get my job done if I have losers being losers? How is a winner supposed to be a, producer if I have losers being losers, preventing productions? And I'm not trying to make no movies or anything. I'm just trying to get into the military. So when the court is ruining my life, and when the communities are calling people on my behalf, all of a sudden, what little anger or peace that I had, or sleep that I was enjoying, all of a sudden, it turns bright red. And it says, each and every day you exist is one day that I exist. So they wanted me to do an entry to say what happened with that splash. I don't know anything about a splash. All I heard was somebody call me a name that isn't even true, because it's not even true. And then his son called me a name that also isn't even true. And then I heard a splash. Well, like 15, 20 minutes later. I didn't hear a splash. But there was a splash. But I didn't really, there was a splash. Well, I can't really say that there was a splash. So, there wasn't a splash. But there was a splash. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. Because after the splash, then there were some people called the community coming outside, acting like they were like cool. And the only thing I was saying was, I was sitting there, and where no one should be sitting, but I was sitting there. And I was just thinking to myself until it became audible, not to them, but just to myself. And I said, go home. You need to go home immediately. And then I got up about, because they went home, about like 20 minutes later. And that's when I ran into Barbie Girl. She was like, my friends left me. And I'm like, what are you doing outside? And I was like, give me $10. You got $10? And she was like, here's $20. And I'm like, I don't need $20. You got $10? She's like, yeah, here's $10. I'm like, And I was like, you want a Slurpee or something? She's like, no. I was like, she's like, it was funny. Anyway. And that's what pisses me off. Is you got all these people that think that they're tough or think that they're cool, and they're running all these games when they need to just be at home and not leave. Because if I'm outside, they need to be at home. Because if I'm not at work, there is like catastrophe. There should not be. You should not even be outside. Don't look at me, don't talk to me. If I'm not at work, this is why I don't clock out. Because once I clock out, I'm done. I'm clocked out. Clocked out. Kellogg, I'm telling you, Kellogg's stays clocked in. Because that's when everything's bright and sunny. Now imagine this for a moment. The sun decides to clock out. What do you think that would look like? The sun says, oh, I'm not going to be all happy and smiley and enjoying life. What happens if the sun clocks out? No. You don't want to imagine that. And that's why I'm sitting there. I'm like, they need to go home right the fuck now. Because I want to tell you what. I already lost my years. That's it. You think I care? Nope. I told my recruiter, I said, each and every day, you're putting everybody at risk. I have a job to do. I have a place to be, and you're not putting me in that place doing my job. I said to him, God put me here for a reason. I know what that reason is. To you who's bullshit. With your flip-flop, stupid ass. I didn't say that to him. And I like the guy. It's not really that he's stupid or that I don't like his flip-flops, but it's the community.
Hello, village.